I just want to say a huge thank you to Pathwater, one of the sponsors of Unbound Living. These are water bottles that I do not go anywhere without. I constantly refill it, reuse it. I drop salt in it. It's one of the best things that I've ever come across. If you have not tried Pathwater, you need to. Thank you for watching Unbound Living. Got one of my best friends here, Brad Womack. Again, it's been a while since, it's been before HYROX, I guess.
Yes, it has.
Since we got in here.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of humbling, was extremely humbling for my ass.
Man, you know what? I got to tell you, and I know we're going to get into this. First of all, thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. I think we need to, first and foremost, let's just do this at least once a month, no matter what.
Let's go.
Don't you think?
Yeah, let's go.
You know, you and I have some things coming up that we need to document said process.
Sure.
And stuff like that. So I think it's just once a month. We'll figure out whether it's first week, second week, whatever. We'll just make it a scheduled day. But I think that way at least it captures some of the things that we've got going on. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I love it. Yeah, no. And I know this is what this is all about, I think, is the HYROX recap. And I want to let you get into it. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to elaborate once we get into it a little bit. But, man, and I've told anyone that'll listen where you're concerned, I don't know if I've seen a bigger display of grit. And you know, and I'm going to let you explain how your body reacted and started breaking down a little bit, how you pushed and all of that. But if you don't mind, I'd like to interject during certain times, because watching it from the outside looking in, right? And seeing a human being push through, man, that would have stopped the large majority of people I know dead in their tracks. And the fact that you kept going, man, you know, the way you showed up for yourself, I commend you, man. And so I'll let you get into it.
Thank you.
I want to hear what you, and let's talk about even the dinner after and all of that.
Absolutely.
The recovery at Fontainebleau. Thank you, by the way.
No,
appreciate
that's awesome.
that.
I'm glad y'all loved it.
But it's your show. We'll get into it.
No. It's, you know, I even said on social media, it was one of the toughest things I've ever done in my life, especially physically.
Yeah.
And I never knew what to expect.
Yeah.
You know, I've never done an event, any type of fitness event like that at all. You know, always just been the grunt in the gym, you know, lift heavy, heavier and heavier and heavier, right? But I've never trained for an event, never done anything. So this was a good baseline. And again, my goal was just to finish, you know? And I've kind of said before, I was not ready for the physical and the emotional. And that's what was toughest. You know, I'm going to, again, jump in, and if you don't mind, but you had said something about the training leading up to it. Todd and I both, Todd Stewart, who we trained with a little bit, and Chad trained with us a little bit. Todd and I both witnessed, it was week after week, significant improvement on your part. You know what I mean? And which I love that, man, for somebody to... You know, I don't care who you are, man. Some of this stuff is hard. Yeah,
I mean, it's just hard.
It's hard.
You know, and so to see you, and I'm not joking, man.
Yeah.
Literally every 7 days, because we'd go out there Sundays and just get after it, man. And Todd, if you're listening, buddy, I appreciate you, because this dude that we're talking about, for those that don't know Todd Stewart, he's an absolute savage.
Yes.
And I mean, an absolute savage, and Lon too.
Yes.
But to see you come in, and it was almost one, you helped us step up our game, of course, but just to see the improvement and the effort. So my question to you, did you feel ready going into HYROX? I know you said you just wanted to finish.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you had to have had a higher level of confidence than the 6 weeks prior when you registered. You had to have, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely did. You know, I didn't know what that was going to look like.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But I definitely felt better than when I started, right? I knew that there was a constant improvement. And that just goes back to, you know, the discussion that you and I have had time and time again, that we're involved with people that are your biggest cheerleaders, and iron sharpens iron, in men supporting men to succeed.
Yes, sir.
In life, in fitness, in goals, in everything, right?
Yeah.
And so that more than anything is what helped, right? It's always it's having that accountability partner, that person to push you. We each have our strengths and our weaknesses, right? And it's being able to support each other to through those weaknesses to get stronger, you know? And that's what was phenomenal to me, because of course, those are the best workouts, right? When we're all together, because in the back of your mind, you're also going, well, I can't let this motherfucker beat me on this, even though that I'm in the back, whatever, but I'm going to keep going, right?
Ben, I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to, I'm glad you said it and I didn't. I can't tell you how many times, like some of the last runs, we'd run and then do, some kind of, whether it's ski or whatever, right? And some of the last runs, like, well, do I really have to do the last run? Of course you do. You know what I mean? Like, just what you said, there's that voice like, these sons of bitches aren't going to beat me down. I'm going to get this last run in. And it that goes along with Nick Bear, of course. I mean, that dude, I revere that dude for so many reasons. But anyway, he had posted something not too long ago. He was doing 1,000-meter repeats on the track and with people that are much faster than him. And now we're talking about what I would consider an elite athlete. No matter what field, whether it's running, lifting, whatever, dude has done it all. And he said that all of these guys were faster than him, pushing him to be better. And so what you just said, I couldn't agree more. I love training with you guys, with Chad, Lon, you, and Todd. And, of course, my coach, Juan. But because in certain areas, you guys are all better than I am. And so, man, let's step up and make each other better. And so it obviously paid off.
Like a pace car. No, like a pace car.
Right. Yes,
you know what I mean? And
it's
that's what I love about it.
Absolutely, man.
So, and the more we train together and stuff like that, the better it's even going to be. So I'm stoked for you guys, for Houston, be there supporting. I got in late, and no tickets, but it is what it is. But I'll be there in full support.
Man, I don't expect that at all. I appreciate that.
No, it's the same thing.
But if you don't mind, and I don't want to bore anybody, but I think they'd be interested. Do you mind you running through how you felt the morning waking up? And I mean down to what you eat for breakfast. Did you feel fueled? Did you feel rested? Was the body hurting? Did you know what I mean? Do you mind getting into that? I love this kind of discussion,
No, absolutely. We had gone to eat the night before. And again, never doing something like this, I just didn't know what to expect. Right? So I didn't, I was just going with what I went with. Right? And we had a great meal.
Yes, we did. That's why I started laughing, man. And again, I don't want to commandeer this. But, I'd heard that Caesar's Buffet is legendary. I didn't know. I mean, it was that level, man. I mean, and so literally anything. We had to stay away from the sweets table. Maybe not night 2.
But exactly.
Anyway. So, but thank you for that, for introducing us. That was good.
Absolutely. And then the nice thing was, at least we had the morning. You had 9 a.m.
Yes, sir.
And I had 9:30. So it was awesome. So that half an hour, or at least 20 minutes before, I had the opportunity to cheer you on. You're running, cheering you on, things like that. And then I hopped back in and started warming up and stuff. I don't know. I really thought that I would be extremely nervous. And I wasn't.
Good.
Because I knew no matter what happened, I had to finish.
Yes, sir.
So I already knew the ending, right? From a fueling standpoint, I didn't eat anything. I don't think that I did. I did have some of those, a couple of those frog protein packs or what have you. Of course, Element, the salt thing.
I'm glad you're mentioning that because, and we'll get into it, but your body broke down, man.
It broke down.
I mean,
it did.
As far as cramping goes, meaning you were very low on electrolytes, very low on sodium and all of that. And you had an Element regardless.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't know if it had enough time or I don't know, right? So started the race, just like everybody said, pace yourself.
Yes, sir.
Just pace yourself. And that's what I did, just pace myself. And what was a ski erg first.
Yes.
And so, we've all kind of discussed the ski erg, the rower, and at least for us, the farmer's carries, those are kind of, and sled pulls for me, not necessarily pushes, but pulls. Those are kind of, sections that I felt like I could relax in.
Damn right.
Not necessarily, but that's where you could catch your breath, right? Sure. We're, mules, so farmers carries are easy for us and stuff like that. And where strength comes in, that helps tremendously. Yep. But of course, the brutal things, the burpee broad jumps, the lunges, things like that are where it kicks your ass. And then we'll talk about wall balls later. I don't know that I ever want to see another wall ball again after this.
Oh, you're going to see them again.
You're
going to see them again.
I know.
Yeah.
So, it was a really cool experience. One of the things, again, that I said that I was not prepared for was the emotional aspect. Yeah. It wasn't long ago, that I lost my dad. And, early on, right before I went to the starting line, everybody, of course, is for the most part shirt off and everything else. And Bristol asked me, do you want to take your necklace off? And again, this is something that I wear every day, and I don't take it off. My dad was wearing it when he passed away, and he had it for years, and it's a St. Michael's necklace, and it's a protector, right? So I'll wear it till the day I die. With that said, I was like, of course not. Me and Pops are going to do this together.
I love it.
So as the race progressed, I would see my dad in the crowd, which was cool in the beginning. Yeah. And then there became a time where things started getting more difficult. You had already finished the race. You and the girls were together and stuff, and I could always hear you. Yeah. I could always hear you, and I could always hear Bristol. Yeah. But I had a hard time looking at you. Yeah. Yeah. And it was because every time I looked over there, my dad loved Bristol. Yeah.
Who doesn't?
And he was there every single time. Yeah. And that was tough. Yeah. That was real tough, especially 3/4 of the way through the race. Yeah. To your point, my body broke down. Yeah. I have never felt pain like that in my life.
I believe that.
My ass, my quads, hamstrings, calves. They started little by little, right? And one happened here, one would happen here, and I'd slow down, try to stretch it real quick off to the side, and it was especially when I was running. Yeah. And then it really happened, I think it was it before? It was before the lunges. Or no, it was after the lunges.
Well, during the lunges is when, man.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, I thought that you were going to tap. Yeah. And listen, let me make this very clear. That is in no way a shot at your grit or anything like that. Yeah. That is a recognition that this man's body is not going to cooperate.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, and that's what it was.
Yeah, but you did it.
I know, I did. It was amazing. Even going back and looking at the pictures and some of the videos, and I saw it firsthand. But my quads by my knee would swell. Yeah, like fucking grapefruits, and I've never experienced pain like that before. And it just knotted up.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I was extremely blessed to have one of the judges right there with me. Yeah. And she was like, put pressure on it, squeeze it. Yeah. And she was trying to get it to unknot, if you would. Yeah. And she was with me almost the whole time. And I know you guys saw, and she's like, you are not going to stop.
I love it.
You are going to do this. We're going to do this together. You're going to get through this. Don't let this happen.
Were you thinking of your dad during that too?
100%. Yeah, that's why I couldn't look at you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Because every time I looked over there, I saw him. Yeah. And I couldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, even during the farmer's carries and stuff like that, I had to look just straight ahead. Yeah. I couldn't look anywhere else. I couldn't, because I did not want to look over there because it was messing with my head.
Okay.
And I know the only reason why he was there was to help me push through, of course, right? Yeah. And I totally get that. Yeah. But I also was trying to concentrate. And again, I didn't want to quit. That wasn't gonna happen. Yeah. So
I love that.
By me concentrating on just trying to be straight and what have you, and not looking over again, I could hear you guys loud and clear.
Yeah, yeah.
But I couldn't break down.
What you didn't know us anything. You know? I mean, not at all. I mean, we were just there to let you know you're loved, and cared for, and supported. So whatever it took to get through.
Absolutely. So right after that, was when I did the lap after, and during that lap is when everything tightened up at the same time.
I saw that.
And I looked damn near paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I would stop and try to stretch and, start running again, try to stretch. And medical grabbed me and pulled me off to the side.
I know.
And had me start stretching on a chair and just started feeding me salt water.
Yeah.
And they were like, so where are you from? And I said, Texas. And they said, so have you drinking any salt? And I said, yeah, I had this. And they laughed at me.
Yeah.
And they said, no, man, if you've never done one of these before, Vegas, even in AC, will take this shit out of you.
Damn right, man. Yeah.
And so they had me there for like 10 minutes or so and just had me drinking. And I remarkably got a lot better.
Sure.
Now, granted, from cramping, it wasn't that my legs weren't sore, but just from the sheer cramping that, that was going on.
Yep.
It was rough, man.
Well, you get muscle fatigue.
Yes.
I mean, if anyone will tell you, I mean, like bodybuilders when they pose and everything, your muscles are locked up. I mean, you're using the muscle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's painful when it cramps up, but I mean, you're flexing that. It's exertion no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
And so, and I'll tell you, I remember because we were waiting, okay, he should be here.
Yeah.
And we were all so worried, like what did happen? And I'm going to tell you when I was, the lunges, I was worried.
Yep.
When I got really worried, and it was your last run.
Yeah.
But like you said, you had come and then you went over to the wall and braced yourself on the wall because you literally couldn't move, man.
Yep.
But you kept going. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's got to feel, man, I think a lot of times, we do these kind of things to push ourselves and all of that. And, but that's got to feel good to be able to have that hard of a test and pass it.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least you kept going.
100%.
You're not a quitter, right?
No,
so
absolutely.
Anyway, so I'll let you finish. But
no, not at all. So, got on, medical said, don't just get in and hit your last deal. Don't take the extra lap. So I got the penalty, but what it is.
Man, whatever.
So then it was the wall ball.
I knew you were going to say, I like the inflection of tone.
I mean, it's a half inch off. Come on.
Oh, I know. I know.
And so for those of y'all that don't know, they have X's that are like 50 feet up in the air, and you got to squat and throw the ball up to said X, and we've got to hit the top X.
Yeah.
Well, I kept hitting the line in between the X's, and I knew that I did quite a few, and, I lost my temper at one point because I had thrown the ball, and it hit the top of the target, and they didn't give me credit for it. And I threw that ball down and turned around at that judge. I was pissed.
I saw that.
And he immediately was like, hold on, let me give you credit for that one, and oh my gosh.
Do you know how many, because I do know.
I do know.
Do you know how many total wall balls you did?
Yeah. Well,
total.
How many are you supposed to do?
Yeah, okay, that's a great question. So we all know, well, for those that don't know, it's 100 wall balls.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is a pretty tough feat. I mean, you've been training, give or take. I mean, the pros do it in an hour, but normal people like us, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, right?
Yeah.
You've been going nonstop for, let's just say, an hour and a half, hour 45. Yeah. And at the very end of this, you need to do 100 wall balls, very strict. Mm-hmm. They make sure that you get the proper depth, like you just said, proper height. So do you know how many you did? Because I do.
I do. I remember you telling me, and I was too tired to be really mad.
Yeah.
But how many was it?
You did 126 wall balls.
Oh,
so
I mean, and again, you're only supposed to do 100, and I'm like a half inch off every single time.
And that's the thing, man. And just. You talk about pouring salt in a wound, man. I mean, it's almost like I wanted so bad to tell you, and I mean, there was no. Well, you just admitted it.
Yeah.
no one could get through to you at that point.
No.
But I did see you throw down the ball.
Yeah.
And even then, I backed off. Like I literally laughed out loud. Like no. So there was one of the judges was actually. She was like, "Oh, is that your friend?"
Yeah.
People were cheering for you, man.
Yeah.
You had a lot of support. You know, just because when people see human beings going to that extreme, to push themselves, I think you get, or you should get unanimous support.
Yeah.
Anyway, but one of the HYROX judges had said, okay, well, hell, let's root him on. Let's go. And whenever you threw him down and I backed off, like, I'm not saying anything either. Let this man go in his dark hole. And he'll break out.
Oh, yeah. No. And that was the end.
Yeah.
Right? And then you stand in line and you've got to, you take your picture with your time and everything else. And again, it wasn't about time. My time was not good. It was 2 hours and 30 minutes. I had some penalties in there and this, that, and the other. But the thing is I did it. You did it.
You did it.
And then I looked in the audience and I saw my dad and he turned around and walked away.
No kidding, man.
And it was,
wow.
It was almost like he was like, you did it.
Wow, man.
And kind of walked away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, not only was the physical aspect just fucking brutal.
Sure.
It was, I had no clue that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And we always, Bristol especially, always sees my dad. She always dreams about him.
Yeah.
He always pops up, right? And so I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So it was a monstrous event for me.
It's funny because I could tell you were moved. You know what I mean? And it's hard to decipher in that moment because I mean, by all definitions, you just got your ass whipped.
Yeah,
I mean, we all did. We all did.
Exactly.
And so I don't know if this man is just recovering, if he just needs electrolytes and a hamburger, or if it's going through something deeper. And obviously, it was much deeper.
Yeah.
But I could tell. And even when I think I'm pretty good at giving people space when they need it, and I mean, obviously I ran up to you and hugged you, your sweaty ass, but but obviously hugged you. But Gabrielle and I purposely kind of, okay, hey, let this man, do his thing. And I just want to tell you, man, I'm so proud. First of all, I'm no one to say that, but I love seeing when people, and I'm like you, I don't care about time. I don't care about any of that stuff. I mean, we're not pros. We just go out and push ourselves. I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face, man. Just watching you push yourself through such an extreme is so inspirational, right? And so from now on, I'll say this, man, and you should too, but we're going to have other tough training sessions and stuff. I'm sure we're going to do another event together. I hope we do. I hope we both remember that, man. Just push through and keep going, man. And you did it.
Yeah.
You did it. At the end of the day, you did it. I'm just so proud, and it was fun to watch, and walked away feeling really inspired. So thank you for that.
No, I appreciate you guys being there.
I wouldn't.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't.
Again, the bond. We've talked 102 times about this, but we've got this weird bond.
Yeah, it is weird, but I like it.
I know, 100%. And I was. You being there helped me get through it. 100%. 100%.
Well, likewise.
That support.
Well, let me tell you, I'm going to turn that right back around on you. So it was cool. So we just established. So I started at 9. You were at 9:30. So we had that little gap, right? And so I'd be running, and it was the coolest thing. I'm not kidding. It was almost like a shot of jet fuel. I was coming around on a lap, and I saw you going into the corral to start. It's like, okay, my buddy's about to be on the same field that I am. Let's go. And I don't know if you remember, there was one time in the runs that we were running beside each other. And I'm sure we were both in our zones. But just having that, like, hey, we came, we're doing what we said we were going to do. I've got my best buddy here, and let's just go. That's what it's all about. But I could hear you yelling for me whenever you were warming up, and I hope vice versa. And again, man, to me, that's what it's all about, right? It's just going out doing something really hard with the support of your friends and family.
Yeah, and it's representative of life.
Yes, it is.
And that's what I kept thinking. There's so many things that have happened in any one of our lives, right? That are tough, that we don't think we're gonna get through it. Because there's a lot of those times emotionally, whether it's business, in a relationship with a girlfriend, a wife, whatever, that you don't think that there's going to be sun on the other side. Right?
Yeah.
And that becomes something that gets stuck in your head. And we've talked about mental health and this, that, and the other.
Oh, yeah.
But that's stuff that can bring you down. But it's things like that, and it's just finish the race that is the most important. Because there is an uptick on the other side.
But yes, there is. And I'm glad, I'm really glad, and I'm not going to take it in this direction because I do all too often, but the mental health aspect. So Gabriella and I stayed behind one day in Vegas, and I'm bringing this up purposely. Mm-hmm. So we were there 4 days in Vegas total. I had 2 drinks over that 4 days, okay? Yeah. That is a much different Vegas trip than I've ever taken in my life. To go out, and again, I'm going somewhere with this. I've gone with some of my best friends, and some I don't remember. Yeah. Some I've been the get sick bag on the plane on the flight back. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And sorry, yes, I'm a little rough, right? But Monday night when I got home, aside from getting sick and I caught the flu or something, but anyway, mentally I felt on top of the world, man. That you could go out in Sin City. Best of friends, watch both people perform, and then hang out and have just a great time. I can't tell you, and anybody that's listening that may need this, and I can't tell you what an extreme benefit that was to prove that can be done. You know what I mean? That just... Okay, man, we did what we said we were going to do. I didn't fall off the edge. I didn't go dark, nothing. And I felt like a brand new man. I felt like $1 million.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that you mentioned the mental health. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I mean, meaning you helped me with that. Thank you.
Well, and that's the thing. It's kind of funny. You become a product of your environment. And that's the thing that was so jovial about this thing in the beginning, right? Sure. Is that we're really going to do this in Vegas.
Oh, sure. Well, exactly.
I mean,
well, that's what I'm getting at. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And so to prove it kind of wrong, to your point, maybe 2 drinks.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yep.
And it's just something that you and I have kind of leaned away from, because you just don't recover the way you used to. No, you know what I mean? And I think probably between you and I and all of our buddies and stuff, we've drinking more than probably most people in Austin combined.
I'm sure
just
we
because
have.
of the industry that we've been in, right?
Sure.
And you understand that that's the only way that you can have fun when you're younger.
Yeah.
And then it's not even a younger thing, right? But there's other battles to be fought that don't need that on top of it, right?
That's so well said.
And with that said, when you do a couple of those times, you're actually getting to your true self with yourself, your friends, and the people you surround yourself with. If you can hang out and not, get hammered or do a bunch of drugs and stuff like that and actually enjoy one another.
Yes.
That's where you want to be.
That's so, again, well said, and I'll take it one step further. I don't know about you. I think this holds true or rings true for you too. If I would have gone back, resorted to my old self, like, hell yeah, win in Rome type attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, yeah, I did my athletic event. Now it's time to let's let the wheels fall off, right?
Yep.
It would have tainted that whole experience. I mean, it would have almost negated that whole experience. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have had the pride for you, frankly, or for myself, for going in and getting that done. Meaning, it's almost a blissful recognition or acknowledgement that what you just said, that you don't need alcohol to have a good time, and in fact, it's almost better if you're just, do the things that you set out to do, whatever, without any kind of enhancements or anything. You know what I mean? And so for me, it almost like compounded that feeling of accomplishment, you know, that, hey, man, we did real well. But I'm not going to lie, that old fashioned at Prime or wherever, it was Prime, right, at Bellagio, was very good and well learned.
Oh, yeah.
Very good and well learned.
Absolutely.
That steak was also one of the best I've ever had.
Phenomenal.
So shout out to Prime. I mean, they need us.
Yeah, they do.
But maybe they can sponsor your podcast.
Exactly.
But anyway, man, and I loved the camaraderie and left there on an absolute high. And I appreciate you, man.
No, you know, this feeling's very mutual, and it is good to find those that you can do that with. You know, sir. I've said it 100 times. I can count, you know, my best friends on less than one hand. Of course, you know, and I consider you one of those. You know,
you, likewise.
And I've got, you know, a couple other buddies, and that's really about it. You know, you've got, you know, few friends and very many acquaintances.
Well, sure,
right? Yeah. It was kind of funny. I read this meme that really kind of rang true a couple weeks ago that said, you know, and it was a group of kids that had grown up together even. Okay. And they said, you know, one person in this group will pass away. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Please, I love hearing
this. And then what was it? And then there will be one person that will be at every one of these funerals. Yep. And then there will be one person that will have no one. Yep. At his funeral.
Man, you know, you sent me that meme. Yeah. And things like that, again, they resonate with me, you know, and because I make no bones about it. I mean, I'm in this journey, so to speak, of I want to celebrate life and the things that really matter to me. And I'm going to steal my buddy Mike Thompson's phrase, positively selfish. Well, and surrounding yourself with good people. You're so right, man. And so when I find people like you, like Chad, like Jay, anyway, we could go with the list. But I want to latch on to that, man, because, again, you helped me accomplish something that, you know, went to Vegas and actually worked out and came back without a hangover. That's a win in my book, buddy. I don't care if I'm 52. I mean, and I shouldn't be thinking on those lines. That's a win to me. And so thank you, man.
No, absolutely. It's very much so. And again, I wouldn't have done that without you guys. I just never had an interest in it, you know.
I'll tell you this, man. I'm always going to be in your corner, and I like that. And another thing you said to me, I want to call you out in a good way.
Okay. But I was like, I don't know.
No, because I want to talk about the elephant in the room with Chad, if you don't mind. And you know, Chad had decided to opt out, and he's got his reasons for that. And you know, my brother, I've discussed it. He's the most accountable person on this planet, in my opinion. And so he just quite wasn't ready. And you know, I think I don't want to speak for him. I think he regrets not going. I think. I know I've never seen anyone with as much grit that can push through. But anyway, he had his reasons. That's it. But I do want, because a lot of people have followed this journey, right? And so just acknowledge the fact that he didn't go. He had his reasons. But we're going to get him in on the next one without fail. Even we have to duct tape that big son of a bitch. And
we'll drag him.
We might need a couple more people to take him down. I mean, he's punched me before. It's not fun. Anyway, so what I'm getting at, but you had said something. And when we got the call and we're discussing, okay, well, what do we do? And your exact words, well, I committed to me. And meaning you weren't selfish. You didn't say, hey, no, I'm doing this for me. Your exact words were, I committed to you. I'm not missing this. And I live by that mentality. And I appreciate that, man. And so what I mean by that is when, not if, you come up with some other crazy, stupid idea that we're going to do to get our ass whipped, I'll commit to you. I'll be there. And so I appreciate it too. Oh, I know. I know you won't let me. You won't let me back out. But anyway, so but that's what it's all about. And we'll 100%. Get Chad on the next one for sure. And hold ourselves accountable.
Exactly. Sure. And again, that's what it's about.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
And you and I were even having a discussion before this. You know, I think when you start surrounding your people that only have your good intention in mind, you attract those people.
Yeah, man.
You know, and it's just that whole aura, the whole everything. You attract what you put out, no matter what. And you and I have been surrounding ourselves with some good guys.
Well, great.
You know, I mean, and I don't know. I don't want to say it's an age thing. I think it's a mentality thing.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
with ourselves as individuals, right? Sure. Again, if you're putting that out there and one of my takes is, and Todd said this, you know, he said, the only thing that I want to do in my life is help improve other people's lives. And that's just, I mean, that's selfless.
Wow. Especially for a guy that's accomplished so much in his in his life. And I think you had mentioned that, but for whatever reason, kind of hit me harder this time. That's a selfless way to approach life.
It is.
And I'm here for it, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing, though. When you do things like that, it makes you feel good. Not because you're just chasing that, right?
Yeah.
But you can help someone else achieve their goals and have that same feeling. That's what's cool.
Well, I agree, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but even during the training, leading up to the HYROX, every time we would train together, I left there feeling better. I left there feeling, a better version of myself, and so, I mean, just those little bitty wins, right? And so again, man, let's just continue this.
Absolutely.
Keep surrounding ourselves with people that make us want to level up.
Yeah, it's all about, it's kind of, I gave you a little patch that said I build cool shit.
Yeah, I love that.
And we were talking about that, and, that's got to kind of, I'm doing a mentorship with, if you guys know who Sharon Lecter is, she's a personal friend of ours, but I've never done any type of mentorship, and I'm lucky and blessed enough to have her mentoring me. And she had asked me, what are some of your isms? And I had no clue what that was. What are some of the things that you say and you live by? And jokingly, I said, I build shit, because that's always been something that I've said when someone asks, well, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I build shit, and it's just an easy way around to say something. And then I had these patches made that said I build cool shit, and I've had one on my backpack, and I just gave one to Brad. But I had used that as my ism.
Love it.
I build cool shit. And she asked me, what does that mean to you? And I said, well, this is about fitness. I build houses. And then I started going down this hole. And I said, I build community. Trust, things of that nature. What do you do? And I had to look inward. How do I truly define that? What do I build? And this leads to something else. You and I both love seeing people succeed and being a part of that success.
Of course.
And one of my other isms was I invest in people, not companies.
I love that.
And earlier this week, we're, at the collective, we're inundated with young entrepreneurs that are just beasts, right? And kids that you look at. And if I had some of that drive when I was that age, these kids, now granted, I was, knee deep in a Jägermeister bottle behind a bar and everything else. You know what I mean? The only thing that I was worried about was getting drunk, having free food, and who I was going to hook up with that night. That was my MO, right?
Sure.
But some of the drive that some of these kids have, I had the opportunity to get involved with the company Squid Hoss.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things is it's not about the company. It's about the kid that runs and owns it. Lucas is a beast.
Man.
I told him if he sold, little Post-it notes, I would invest in it.
Right.
And I had the opportunity to do that. And with that said, this is a little Squid Hoss stuff right here.
Congrats, by the way, on that
boy.
Investment.
No,
I think it's a wise one,
And again, that's an investment in a person. Right?
Man.
But I do have to say, I love their stuff. So the quality's phenomenal.
Sure.
Love their short shirts, their sweatsuits, things like that. So it's a phenomenal product on top of it. So that's a bonus, right?
Man.
But again, it goes back to that whole thing of, us having the same mentality of investing in people,
of course, and
relationships. Because do I hope I do well on it financially? Sure,
of course.
But what would be cooler is to see him really succeed, and hoping I can play a hand in some of that with connections or this, that, and the other to help take him to the next level.
Man, and again, that's such a selfless approach. And I told you, first of all, congrats on the investment. Like I said, I'm going to repeat myself, but I think that's a very wise one. That dude, young man, I've talked to him maybe once or twice. I'm going to repeat what I said to you out there, but I don't know what to expect from anybody. I don't know Lucas at all. And he approached me, and I was wildly impressed by his demeanor, his disposition, and to be so young and so.
It's 23 years old.
That's it, man. Lucas, you can go to hell.
Right?
No, I love, man. And you said it the best, man. At Collective in particular, and that's what this is all about, right? The Social Performance Club, and I think when we all applied to join here, we were told, you're going to be around leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and all of this. And damned if that doesn't hold true, man. But it's some of the more younger men and women that are just crushing it in life. And I share your mentality. I would give anything to have had, and look, man, I don't have any regrets, but a fraction of that, whether it's tenacity, wherewithal, intellect, I don't know, drive at their age. Because at 23, I was like you, man. I was in hell, I was in the oil fields looking to get off and drink a 12-pack, you know? So, and good for them, man. And so, but yeah, Lucas in particular, seems just, he's got something good going, man.
He does. And again, I don't know where it comes from, right? You know, we're more of the, you know, the kids that drank water from a hose and came back when the street lights came on or whatever type of deal, or sometimes not at all. And, you know, our parents knew like a stray cat, we'd roll up in some way, shape, or form, right? You know? And but that generation's got some drive, you know?
You know what? And I say you're exactly right. And it's not only in business, and you see it here, but there's just this movement of just being optimal. So, I mean, physical fitness and you know what I mean? And
100%.
You know, the days, and I'm not going to say this, that it's across the board, but it seemed Chad and I were talking about this, I kid you not, 3 hours ago, just because we were all in hospitality before. But, you know, alcohol sales are declining. We all know that. That's across the country. It's a very well-known fact. And, man, I really do think that this younger generation has kind of woken up a little bit and almost taking pride in optimizing their lives as a whole. And so physical fitness, business, relationships with others, you know. And I'm telling you, man, I mean, I'm impressed, you know, and let them get it.
I know.
Let them kick the door open to this world, man. Let's go.
Can you remember at that age? I don't remember like running groups. It doesn't mean that there weren't people that ran around Town Lake and stuff like that, but there weren't. There was Gold's Gym, and then it was World's Gym, and then it was something else, this, that, and the other. But there was not a collective, no pun intended, group of individuals in fitness level type groups. Like these kids aren't going out and partying.
Exactly right.
Because they're getting up and they're all meeting at 6, 7 a.m. at Town Lake, and there's a couple hundred of them, and they're going running together.
Man, let me tell you, it's funny you mentioned a couple hundred. So where I run, it's part of the trail. It's over in East Austin. I'll run down the trail. But Tuesday, Thursday mornings early, I'm talking 5:30 in the morning, there's a group of no less than 100 people. And it's all the pretty faces. I'm talking men and women, young men and women, that you would see in the bars 10 years ago, right? And this is their social meetup. And so and so you're on to something. And, yeah, of course, people still go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
But I am wildly impressed, but also almost shocked that these kids, buddy, my niece and my nephew, my niece is 16, my nephew is 14 and a half. They get up every single Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. to drive to the gym. They don't miss. They don't miss. And so it's all part of that. And God love them, man. Like
100%.
Let's go. If this is the younger generation, let's go, man. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, with RFK in there and everything else, it'll just become a healthier nation, you know?
Yeah,
and it's kind of funny, you know, because just being...
I have to say this real quick.
Go ahead.
You know our bar owner friends are cussing us right now.
I know. You know, they're like, man, you're doing that.
Sons of bitches.
You're killing our business, man.
Hey, look, go out and have a good time, everybody, okay?
Exactly.
But hey, man, we're just calling how we see it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe
but we're getting cussed.
I know.
We're going to get calls and texts when we leave here.
Maybe they should put some treadmills in there while they serve beer, right? Or something like that.
There you go.
There you go. Some wheatgrass shots or some shit like that they can do.
Yeah.
No, but it's just it's crazy, and I'm hoping it's not a fad, right?
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
and because everything's very secular.
Of course,
you know, bell bottoms come in and out,
or
whatever, right?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And so hopefully it's something that spans some longevity. And the thing that's cool is that generation is so large that I think they're going to make more of an impact. And it's even early 20s to like 30.
Yeah.
It's like that entire window, 31, 32 even, that entire window is just a lot more mindful about their bodies, what they do with it, and how it recovers and things like that.
Well, man, I got to tell you, mentioned fad, but I don't know about you, this is the most simplistic saying. It feels good to feel good. I mean, it really does. And so if that's a fad, it turned me on to a fad that I consistently feel good and I'm in.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this till we're blue in the face, hangovers and feeling rough, and you make some stupid decisions.
Yeah.
Make some calls you shouldn't make.
Yep.
And wake up with.
You're like, where am I?
like,
Who is over there?
Oh, again.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, and I hope you're right. And I'm speaking directly to my nieces and my nephew, but I hope that they realize that feeling good trumps anything. You know what I mean? And so, sure, go out at spring break and have some fun, but just be responsible, man. Let's go and just keep this lifestyle going, and hopefully they'll be surrounded with other kids that you're talking about in the business world, and let's lead some good, positive lives. You know?
So 100%. You know, well, I know you've got Houston coming up. How far away is that?
We're 3 weeks away, man. It's March 15th, I believe, and I think I'm ready, buddy. And I appreciate you asking it. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's only because of Todd's leadership and Juan. We've been dialing in some conditioning workouts that are brutal.
I still need to meet him. I still have never met him.
Meet you.
Yeah.
He's I've talked about him so much. I truly, in my heart, believe that he's one of the best coaches in the country. I truly do.
Wow.
And I've had the immense privilege of training with
You've trained with
people.
a lot of people.
I have, man.
Yeah.
Even in my old days in the show, doing the show. I know I can't say it without laughing, but I had some trainers out there that they provided to me, and these are LA guys that are all in that scene, and you would think they're great. They were good. Yeah. Juan to me is one of the best. But anyway, so to Houston, we've been dialing that in. Todd has taken the lead, and with a very humble approach, he's not too hard on me, but I'm feeling ready, man. And with that first HYROX in Vegas, I'm going to admit the runs I held back a little bit. I was really worried about just losing gas, just too soon.
Yeah.
So I know I could shave some time off of that.
Yep.
I was joking around with Gabriella and a little bit like during the transitions, trying to be funny guy and cute.
Yeah.
Obviously, I won't do that. I want to take it serious. So it kind of costs some time. But I'm feeling good.
Yeah. I wish that they would spread their water stations out a little bit better.
Well, you and me
know
both,
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even if you needed something, you had to go all the way over to the other side and then all the way back.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they can do something like that.
Man, well, you're a testament to hydration is key, man.
Yes.
I mean, you know that.
Yes.
And if you're really, really worried about time, that few, just call it 30 seconds. 30 seconds over time. I mean, 3 to 4 or 5 minutes over time.
Exactly.
Adds up, man. I mean, there are guys that are winning these things by a minute. And so that 3 or 4 minutes of – but to answer your question, Houston, I've got Miami, April the 19th. And I would love, man, I'll tell you, you get a wild hair. I know they're all sold out. I think they have travel packages that you can still get a ticket, meaning if you use the host hotel.
Yeah, you get a ticket.
And it's a decent hotel, I think, but that's the way I got my Miami ticket.
Yeah.
Is just to do the hotel and ticket.
Well, I'll have Bristol look into that. Are you doing singles on that one?
Singles. That's the only ticket that was available.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is fine by me, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it best. I'm going there to finish. I'm going there to compete against myself. Mm-hmm. But the main thing, I want to have fun. Now, don't get me wrong. With Todd, I'm going to push.
Yeah.
And
he's not going to let you not.
Well, I owe it to him. And I've told him this in training. And it'd be the same with you if we were doing doubles or Chad. And Todd especially, only because he's won a few of these events, man. The dude's a beast. I'm showing up for that, man.
Yeah.
And to the point that I'm leaving it out there, buddy. And I'm going to be hurting.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be hurting. And it's going to be ugly.
Well, so the thing that you said, though, that's extremely positive is you said that you held back on your running.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right?
I did, yeah.
So even after, Vegas, you and I both got sick for damn near a week. Just, flu, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But, you've been training more and more with him.
Sure.
I bet you're going to be able to shave even more of what you figured you held back before, because he's a freaking runner.
The dude's a beast. Man.
I mean, he runs.
Treadmills don't lie, numbers don't lie, and so we're timing runs, and That dude, man, I mean, I'll see him look over at my treadmill.
You almost want to cover it up.
I do, but I can't. And so, but I love that. What we were talking about at the very beginning of this podcast is, surround yourself with people that are so much better than you.
Yes.
And so I see him looking over, and so I say this so humbly, but my conditioning is getting there, man, and it feels really good. It's just, culmination of a lot of training, and that's why we want to do this stuff, is to improve.
100%. And, those little tricks that we know now. Again, you hadn't done one of these, you'd been there, but to physically experience it is completely different.
Yes, it is, man. And when I say I held back on the runs, I want to make this clear. I will never embellish. I'll never give myself false credit. But I'd tell you, I mean, probably realistically about 45 seconds per run, so that adds up. I mean, you've got 8 runs.
Yeah, 8 runs.
So, that's I'm quick math, 6 minutes, something. So I did 100%. Quick math. So anyway, we got
in between stations.
If
you can pull another 4 to 10 minutes even off of those because of the in-betweens.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even think about that until you brought it up.
But I'm telling you, that what they call the HYROX zone, right?
Yes.
For anybody that's and a lot of people already know this, so if people are rolling their eyes, but for anybody that doesn't know, the HYROX zone is the transition between stations. Well, you can kind of get in your own head about, I'm just going to walk this thing. What does it matter? It matters.
That's exactly what I kind of thought.
Well, like I said earlier, I was joking with Gabrielle. I was trying to be the funny guy, like, hey, let's go out after this. Like, because she was around people that didn't know we were dating.
Oh,
and so I was like, hey, you're pretty. You want to go out? And she's embarrassed, and I'm literally rowing and like, hey, let's get dinner.
Hey, what's your name?
I swear to God, these girls, a group of girls looked at her and was like, do you know this guy? Like trying to protect her from it. And I was just trying to be funny, like, hey, I'm taking you out. You're pretty, trying to well, obviously I'm going to take it a little more seriously, but I just want to have fun and go and perform.
Well, and that's the thing, I think if you can always kind of beat your time, or that's kind of the goals, beat your previous time, we'll always improve no matter what. So I'm excited to see you guys do that together.
I appreciate that.
Because it was during, while we were doing our deal that I looked around and I knew that there was pairs and doubles or what have you. But then when I looked at him, I was like, man, if you just got to keep up with the fellow when you're running together, this is the only way to do that. That's 50% of the damn work.
You're damn right.
You know what I mean?
Well, hey, look, man, you think I complain or argue whenever Todd says, hey, you only do 400 meters of the ski and I'll get the rest. And okay. I mean,
all right.
But we have openly discussed, and that's the good thing. Again, what we were talking about, strengths, weaknesses, right? And so he's stronger than me in quite a few, and vice versa. And so we're going to get it, man.
Heck yeah.
We're going to
No, that's going to be exciting, especially. And that thing, for the most part, is kind of sold out altogether. So this thing has gotten, and it's been around for a few years.
Sure.
But for some reason, and maybe it's that generational thing.
Maybe.
But I didn't know that it was as popular as it is this year, even in previous years.
Well, we got to see it too with Puma as an official sponsor. They just opened that flagship in Vegas. And did you tell me they had opened the day before or something?
Yeah, it was like just a couple days before that it opened up.
So line out the door, I think we were told combined 2 days there were 10,000 participants. Think of how many people that is.
It's insane.
You know what I mean? And so, but you're right, they are sold out. But man, I would absolutely love it if you could find a ticket to Miami.
Absolutely.
One, camaraderie and everything, but just to have some fun.
Yeah.
Because I know you. So that's a great question for you. If you don't get Miami, if you don't get a ticket or whatever, what's your next thing? What's it? Because I know you're always goal oriented.
No,
what is it?
I want to find one.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
and I know I'd love to do teams too, and
Let's go.
Lon and I had talked about that as well. And even if there's other events outside of HYROX, I want to continue to do those. Don't get me wrong, but if there's others that we can experience as well, you've done others. I haven't done a mutter. I haven't done any of those.
Those are all fun, man.
I'm down to do any of those. I don't know that I want to do any triathlon type of stuff. Man, I'm good. I'll watch from afar.
It's funny. I have the utmost respect for triathletes, but the swimming. I told you, I can't get it out of my head. It's I just can't. I mean, running and biking, I'm great, but are good.
Yeah.
But the swimming, man, it is what it is.
Can we go in there with Scooby-Doo?
So little floaties.
We can back.
Man, I'll tell you what.
And doggy paddle.
If it would help me get through, because, I would never even consider doing one that's not wetsuit legal. Some are, some aren't, because wetsuits help you stay buoyant. But even with a wetsuit, I'm going to tell you, man, I'm terrified of the water. I don't know if you know that.
No.
So I almost drowned. You didn't know that. That's okay, I'll make this quick.
No.
While we were filming The Bachelor the first season, and it's a long story I won't go into, but it had to be rescued from the ocean type drowning. I'm not kidding.
Holy shit.
I'm really not kidding. And so I was 34 years at the time, 34 years old, and the reason I'm bringing that up, that stuck with me. It traumatized me, and I tried to get over it. That's why I hired Natasha, from MVDM, a swimming coach, to try to get me out of that. And buddy, I tried. I trained for a triathlon, and it was a sprint triathlon in Kerrville, really popular one. I made it to the first buoy and had my only panic attack I've ever had in my life in the water. And I'm not kidding. So get this, man. Let me put a comedic spin on this. They had to, since it was so close to the start. I know. I'm gonna bust out laughing.
So you're saying they walked out to you,
buddy? No, almost. But I thought I was doing okay. But people swim over you and stuff, and I was just gonna go slow.
Yeah.
But sure enough, and nothing against this dude, but he grabbed my foot and swam over me because people are going.
Yeah.
And I panicked, and so I'm at the first buoy. And, dude, I don't mean to sound any way, but as far as triathletes go, I'm a pretty big dude.
Yeah.
And so meaning by looks, I should be able to do this.
Yeah, and those guys are built different, too.
Sure.
They're lean,
Sons of
sleek,
bitches.
they're not big.
But this is a true testament. Never judge a book by its cover, because by looks, you could think, well, this guy's in shape,
Yeah.
So I had to call over the jet ski, Mike, and the jet ski lifeguard or whatever. I had to get on the back, and they couldn't, since I was so close to the start. I had to go right up to the start ramp, and I'm walking through people running going through the, and I'm the dude coming back out on the other end, like, what happened? And, And so, but I was mortified, and I just gave it up, and so.
Yeah.
So kudos to triathletes.
Yeah.
I know I'm beat red. I'm sweating, but yeah, man. So no, I'm not going to.
Well, and there's certain things. Well, it's kind of like, I always said I was skydive. Have you ever
I have.
And how was it?
It was. You know what? I've always done it tandem. I've done it 4 or 5 times. It's exhilarating, to be honest. It is. Yeah.
And see, and it's not the fall, it's the sudden stop that I'm worried about, and if you said, well, we're going to go skydiving, of course I would do it, right? I've got our youngest wants to do it for graduation. I'm like, I'm good, but
when does he graduate?
When he graduates college, he wants to do that.
Oh,
so he's got another 2 years, but with that, I was like, I'm good. But I may do it anyway. But again, if you guys said, well, we got to go do it, of course I would do it. But it's not going to be something like that I'm going to push necessarily.
Yeah.
And again, it's not the fall, it's the sudden stop that's stuck in my head with my parachute doesn't open, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
But that's just, just like anything else, you just got to go for it and at least try it. So,
well, you have to try it. But skydiving is actually relatively simple, and with a good guy the actual guy. I mean, those landings, you come in soft, and then you thought, hey, man, it really is exhilarating.
Okay. Well, maybe I got to do it now.
Well, you know what I'm thinking in the back of my head.
You're like, okay, we got the next challenge.
Like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You're going to be on a group thread saying, hey, get Bristol to meet you, bring you here.
Yeah.
And we're going to drive down, I think it's San Marcos, they do it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And so, bring your GoPro, buddy.
We may have to do that.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No, I'd be in to do that. We got to think of some other things too. I've got some things in mind that we've discussed before that we'll definitely do, and it's more of an embarrassment thing, but that's okay.
Man, I'll tell you, you've proven that you step up, and so I'm going to tell you, for no other reason than committing to you.
Yep.
I'm in.
Awesome.
So, I'm in.
Awesome.
Let's go.
So so then you've got Miami.
Yes, sir.
They're pretty close, so you should just be able to kind of, I would think,
sure,
just keep a standard to kind of go through it as well. So is there anything that you think you'll change? And I guess it's the unknown too of the pairings. You don't know, how that's going to go versus, individual and stuff like that. And I'm hoping it's going to be easier, but there's still transitions and things like that you have to worry about and stuff. So
sure. Nothing at all. The only thing that we're working on with Juan and Todd is getting those 1,000-meter runs faster. That's it. And I mean, you know, because then you get to the point, and Juan calls them compromised runs. You can still run fast when you're compromised, meaning you leave a station. The sled push is the prime example, is because you're using your quad, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And then you go into a 1,000-meter run. I want to train my body to where I can leave the sleds and all of that and still run, you know, a 4 for me. 4 minute, 20 seconds would be ideal if I can do that every 1,000 meters compromised. I mean, you're smoking then, in my opinion.
No, that's a great way to put it, especially just the transition.
I mean, that's the thing is, just this morning, I'll make this quick, but he had us doing 25 thrusters and then immediately into a timed 500-meter run, rest for about a minute, do that 4 rounds. So just think wall balls. Then, and I know wall balls are the last thing, but long story short, compromise runs.
Yeah.
So when you're fatigued, and it's such a good way to condition your body.
No, it makes total sense. Just switching from one to another.
That's all it is.
Even if you're just doing them short, you know, just going from one to another.
Fast transitions, man.
Explosive, yeah.
Let's go.
Well, I appreciate it as always. Again, we're going to do this at least once a month. You know, you and I, again, have some things that are coming up that we'll definitely let everybody know about.
Yeah, man.
Some pretty cool shit. You know, and I'm pretty excited. So
it is.
We'll do some things that are, I don't think have ever really been done properly or been done super well. So we're pretty excited about some of the things we got in the future, and we'll definitely document it, my friend.
I can't wait. I want to end by saying one more time, because I want the focus to be on you. I'm so impressed and proud of you, man. So job well done. I know that meant a lot to you emotionally. Job very well done. Thank you for letting me be along for the ride.
No, thank you very much for being a part of that ride.
Sir.
Again, I wouldn't wanted anybody else there, man. I appreciate you, my friend.
Yes, sir. All right.